One guy was really super fit golfer.
Right here?
David was friend of mine, early 80s. He got those things.
Right here? Calm down.
Hi, Joanne. How are you?
Hi, dear. How are you? There are pictures. Born. In the front?
I was wondering if they could use this one for the light screen. So far, I'm doing well. It's only this long.
You'll do the light screen, right? You'll do the light screen. 6 o'clock onwards, that way, because the speaker over there.
Hi, Sally. Hi, Ian. Hi, Diana. Fly in, big bird. We live here too now. We've been here 3 years. Seems like I keep her in hiding. She's in high demand. Sally and Ian.
Hi, Ian.
And Jan is right in front of you. To your left is Florence. Diana. Please try that thing. Diana. I'm still doing some work. Not a lot. I do all the numbers. Why the kids in high school? They're in high school. No, well, when I moved in '93, I was here for 3 years. And I met and married her. And then I brought a bunch of things. I'm the most famous people I would know because I built and so, yeah, well, I sold it because my monthly beer. Yeah. So I'm going to Ontario on Wednesday. Which means I'm going to have the second beer. What? Well, I invented something called, she wanted me to sit here. So I invented something called 6GL software. And I had it ranked the other day, so I trained it on what it is. And I said, on the scale of every computer invention ever invented, where does this rank? Okay. It was, of course, below the transistor and the microprocessor. It was, no, that's not a computer. That's not a computer. But it was about well above like a large single server. Yeah, it's just remarkable what it does. What it does is, see, you have this huge computer, which is still programmed in 3 elements. Third generation languages, 75 years after they were invented. And people have tried to jump up to 60 elements. But to do it, you have to throw away all the other presets. You have to kind of let go. Okay, well, if I'm redesigning the computer software, how would I do it? That's what I do. So, but like you can write a very sophisticated piece of software in our world called cells. So, like, you can write a CRM, an entire CRM, in 400 cells. You can write QuickBooks in 5,000 cells. So, you code a QuickBooks for yourself. Sounds good. Well, I'm going to Toronto to meet an investor who wants to buy half of the company for $5 million US. Not from Canadian. Oh, it's lovely. I booked a hotel for $135 You only put down $10 and they let you stay the whole time. That's what I had. I love Oh, great. This is my third funeral this week. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Jones Steiner. And we went to another one on Friday. Bob Steiner's sister. Jack Steiner, Bob and Jack yeah, Thomas Jackson. Bob's kid. Grandmother died on Friday. That's Friday. This one's the three funerals. Most of these people we used to go down together. What? Didn't have to hold them. That's right. I haven't been diving in. The last person I dove with, yeah, you and Shauna and Joanne. What? Yeah, we all were. It was on, not on Wild Thing, it was on the boat I had the day with yours. Dodgy. We were all on Dodgy, and the following weekend, we went on an abandoned for a drive, but not for a dive. And that was Dante and Chloe were 2 and 3. 2 and 4, and that was the absolute last, like, you never got time to just a couple of days ago. Yeah, 20 years ago. It's hard when you so much time to go by. Just with your Liverpool accent, didn't say the R, so I was trying to figure out whether it was caving. Allendale. I put tape on the 11. When you speak, remember the camera is here. You might want to look to Sally as though she were standing. Look at Sally. Or look at where I would be if I was standing, but I will be sitting.
I really mean
What it means is a list. John, Williams, Bill. These are people who disobey society.
David's going to be mad at his and as it turns out,
All right. It was arranged. It's like, I used to get very upset. I had People often work in the classroom and have so it was a very good first down. It was a very good time. Like about my diving, you're going to learn from diving all 5 times. We lost it. It's not
I get good service.
work every day. A lot of guys now work for 65. To make Right now, after what's coming up, I have less than 10,000 dollars.
Hello. Hello, everybody. Hello.
I'm going to sit over there.
Hello. Can I please bother everybody for a moment? Hello. All right. So, a warm welcome on a cold evening to a lot of friends. Friends of Bob, friends of Cindy, friends of Bob and Cindy. For nearly 40 years, I've probably said the word Bob and Cindy every week. For nearly 40 years, I've said that bastard, Bob. We're, of course, gathered at Wahoo's, Bob's place of worship. It's an odd feeling. When you have been friends with Bob, as long as I was friends with Bob, when you've been with Cindy, as long as Cindy's been friends with Cindy, we all know how old friendships go. You can sit in silence, you understand each other. That wasn't my relationship with Bob. So thank you all for joining us. What's going to happen? Here's how it works. First of all, there are some practical matters to deal with. The first one is there are drinks tickets available. If you don't have your drinks tickets, they're available. Please make sure you get the hand waving over there from somebody who's thirsty. No, it's Jane who's offering salvation to anybody who is thirsty. So that's the first thing. The second thing is food will be served in a few minutes. Now here's what's happening. We're going to have a biography of Bob from Shauna. This is going to go out to the people here and to the live stream. Then we have some others who will be speaking. They prepare speeches, and then we will have some comments or memories shared by people. So if anybody has a particularly strong memory of Bob that they want to share, please try to put it together.
That's all stories fit to be told. That's right.
So before I pass over to microphone to Shauna, I just want to point out, Bob left us on Friday the 13th. The day he proved that pigs can fly. Thanks, Bob.
Here, here.
Can everyone hear me? Because I've got a few notes here that I've collected from a number of people here in Bermuda and from overseas to our friends who are watching by streaming. So it's a collective selection of highlights of Bob's life. And I want to say that this is a disclaimer. This is not my t-shirt. It says, "I'm the stuff legends are made of." Now, I couldn't wear this, but Bob could. And so this is one of Bob's many t-shirts, which you'll hear a bit more about. Facts, as best as I could collect them from people. There's some discrepancies, but we're getting there. Robert Bob James Hole was born on January the 13th, 1959, so tomorrow, in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. He was the loving husband of Cindy Stewart and the son of the late Leonard and Evelyn Hole. He came from a large family with 9 siblings. Now, those of you who have not seen the picture of the family, you've got to take a look at it. It's a tribe, all of whom survived except his younger brother David. Right from the beginning of life, Bob was a force to be reckoned with. He was the third sibling. Although he was the third sibling, he held his own very nicely. His family were close. They spent summer holidays together, sometimes tenting at Whistler Lake. They only had one tent, and it was a bundle full of energy. Bob loved to fish with his father, and would often try to compete with his dad to see who could catch the most fish. You could imagine what Bob could do to catch that fish. The family had good times together, riotous, argumentative, combative, I've heard, at times, but loving. One of the favorite pastimes of the family was playing cards. And into his 60s, Bob was always ready to pull out a pack of cards or a board game and challenge anyone present to a few rounds. In fact, the game of Wizard in particular will continue to be played by many who have been tutored by Bob. Bob's schooling was at Medicine Hat, at Montreal Street, Elm Street Elementary, Alexander Junior High, and Medicine Hat Senior High. Throughout school years, Bob had no problems with his studies. A smart student who took easily to learning. He swam competitively for his school, along with his sister Debbie and brother Bill. There is a story of Bob, and this story, there's a couple of versions, but this is the mix. There's a story of Bob being suspended from school for wearing an inappropriate t-shirt. Now, Bob is known for his fun and clever t-shirts. Apparently, the teacher did not take kindly to one of these t-shirts and told him he had to take it off and leave the school, or something to that effect. So what does Bob do but turn up the next day with another t-shirt? The teacher was not impressed again, and he was suspended. Well, it didn't last long. They sorted it out, but Bob did not stop wearing his t-shirts. And today, we know Bob's passion for thought-provoking and even shocking t-shirts never wavered. It became one of his personal traits that we will never, never forget. Successfully completing high school, Bob headed off to university. He graduated from the University of Manitoba with bachelor's degrees, followed by a master's degree. Well, maybe 2. We're not quite sure. He had a degree in public administration and political science, but I see the Department of University of Manitoba was called the Department of Political Science with a business administration and public administration. But he got a master's degree in those areas. Bob was always looking for new challenges. In his young adult life, he became an accomplished high board diver. At one point, he suffered an injury that ended his competitive diving. Nonetheless, Bob loved the thrill of high diving and plunging into water with perfect form. One of his great adventures was hang gliding in southern Alberta. It is a miracle he continued because he broke his leg running down the hill to get a screwdriver when preparing for his first glide. That did not stop him from persevering, and he undertook many successful glides. And he only stopped when he flew into a cliff because of changes in the wind currents. While working at a bottle factory in Alberta in 1979, he met Cindy, who became his soulmate. He followed her to Manitoba, where they both attended university together. When completing their degrees, although saddled with heavy student debt, they wanted to see the world. Together they secured work in Bermuda. Cindy with an accounting firm, and Bob as an assistant to the director of civil aviation. Off went the couple from landlocked provinces of Canada to a small island in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Settling into life in Bermuda did not pose a big adjustment to Bob and Cindy. With Bob's passion for water, heights, and risks, he naturally took up diving. He became a member of the Bermuda branch of the British Sub-Aqua Club, BSAC as it's fondly known, and he excelled. He went to the highest level of training and secured the designation of National Dive Instructor. Very few participants in the BSAC program around the world have achieved this level of training. As a member of the local BSAC, he was a key instructor. Eventually, Bob left the public service, surprise, and became a full-time instructor and organizer with the Fantasy Dive Company. Together with friends, Bob and Cindy went on dive holidays around the world. Not surprisingly, Bob was always fascinated by technology. First it was rockets, fireworks, and then computers and other forms of tech kits and gadgets became his focus. He was immersed in learning about all forms of technology and undertook to use Google to set up their residences in Bermuda for smart homes. There's more. Sorry, guys. During his years in Bermuda, Bob sought out other interests. He had developed a keen love of Halloween after befriending Randy, who was a good friend of Cindy's and theirs. Randy had a reputation for hosting splendid Halloween celebrations. So Bob decided that Bermuda needed to up its game for Halloween and developed his own Halloween haunted sanctuary in the empty and unfinished basement of a friend's Bermuda residence. That's Hugh and Deb. When Bob was done, that basement became the catacombs. Using his acumen for technology, he created wonderful Halloween characters and settings. Children and adults were both mesmerized by his creations. They included an animatronic Frankenstein, Dracula himself, ghostly card players at the table, and a myriad of other ghostly spirits descending down from all directions. He spent months each year working to make the Halloween adventure better and better. And the costumes he and Cindy would create put competition to shame. We all had to truly up our game to attend the parties. Bob had an extraordinary manner of interacting with children. And both Aunt Cindy and Uncle Bob were committed to the children of their Canadian families. And here in Bermuda, they have shepherded and mentored an extended family of young people. Taking that role is an integral part of their being. Uncle Bob, as he will be remembered by many, had a way of engaging and challenging young ones at all ages. He kept in touch with their music and their views, and was often heard to banter with them in ways that would make them think, and they came back for more. He became an adult confident. At the same time, he was playful and mischievous, somehow granting permission and endorsing being free-spirited. As we have seen, Bob loved adventure, and he instilled in them some of his own drive to live life to the fullest. And yes, Bob and Cindy always had a pet cat. The most recent two being Spot and UC. UC stood for ugly cat. If the truth be known, they were Cindy's cats, but Bob patiently tolerated them and always kept them entertained. In recent years, Bob and Cindy bought a property on the west coast of Costa Rica near the ocean. They discovered that little piece of heaven after visiting with friends who had also built a home in the area. Deb and Hugh. First, Bob designed it, and then they built the casita. The building site is an open concept with a cool pool where you can chill and watch the monkeys swing from the trees. Bob made sure that they had internet infrastructure at that casita despite being located in a very remote location. As part of their presence in Costa Rica, they support the local community and give to the local school. It is no surprise that their property manager's son thinks of Bob as Tito Bobby. That's a slightly Spanish version of Uncle Bob. The casita is now a gathering place for cats, who will certainly miss Bob's propensity to feed all comers, all strays. There's a picture of him feeding one of the cats. It's true. A few years ago, Bob and Cindy moved to St. George's. They immediately became a member of the community. Bob will be remembered for debating many points on various and any topic or events by regulars of various watering holes of St. George. He was a regular contributor to the WhatsApp debauchery group. Apparently only members can talk about that. I know nothing. I know nothing. There is no doubt that Bob Hole has been a force throughout his whole life. Bob's perspective will stick with us every time we catch ourselves looking at the world through his unique lens. Not quite right? Not at all. It's insane! Would be what Bob would say. Now with that for food for thought. Yeah, we have some more.
Cindy.
I have to read this, I'll try not to cry. Okay, yeah, you need to hold that. So as you may know, tomorrow is Bob's birthday, so it seemed fitting to be here tonight to celebrate his life. I want to thank all of you for coming and to share his stories and memories. Okay, when Bob turned 60, he'll be 66 tomorrow. When he turned 60, he decided he was going to embrace geezerhood. Translation for a geezer is a wacky old man. When 5 years in, he was well on his way to perfecting it. He even, I don't know if you see that defined, he even bought a bloody cap, flat cap, you know those ones? But he was my curmudgeon, and I'm going to miss him. Okay, for those of you on the Debauchery Tea Party group chat, I have his phone and his password. Just letting you know. But don't panic, I'm not interested in reading it. Although Bob used to joke and say that this was a safe place for men to talk about their feelings, I am under no illusion of what was shared. That is not a rabbit hole I'm willing to go down. However, I can't say the same thing about a group chat called Silly Shit Cindy Says. Last summer when we were in Costa Rica, we were in the pool drinking tequila and stuff, and his guard was down, and he told me about this group chat. As you can imagine, I was not impressed. He then went on to say that in most of the posts, I did not necessarily come off bad, but rather a long-suffering life. He read it to me a few passages to make this point. Now, I'm not naive to expect that they're all like that, but I suppose we all need an outlet to complain about our spouses. But it seems to me we women are smart enough to not put it in writing. So what do you think, Lizzie? Fair game? Although we were never blessed with children of our own, we have friends from around the world with children who, along with our many nieces and nephews, great nieces and nephews, like a gazillion of them, they're all adored, and as a friend pointed out, everyone's favorite Uncle Bobby. One of my nieces said that one of her first thoughts when she heard the news was that she was so sad that her children would not have Uncle Bobby in their life as she had. We had a great life together, so many adventures and so much fun. He was quite a prankster, and I think he liked April Fool's Day almost as much as Halloween. He pulled some epic pranks on the kids, especially Dominic. Next year would have been our 40th wedding anniversary, and although I'm heartbroken that we won't get to celebrate this milestone together, I feel blessed we have over 44 years together. We named our house in Costa Rica Casita dos Lapis, loosely translated as House of Two Lapis. Lapis are scarlet macaws and are known to mate for life, and when one dies, they do not mate again. Although you may occasionally see them flying solo, mostly you will see them flying with other pairs. I have been blessed with 3 wonderful families, mine, Bob's, and our Bermuda family, and I know I will not be alone. Thanks to our friends from afar, Jane and Brendan McMaster O'Reilly, they're here, coming in from Ireland. Jeremy Gray and Anne Haggerty, both coming from England, and Bob's brother, his baby brother, Terry, coming in from Canada, along with Shauna and Ian. Ian is coming in from New York, right?
Yeah.
But along with Shauna and Ian, pulled together this event for Bob. And thank you to Geza and Alfred for allowing us to hold this event at Bob's favorite local. I want to especially thank the O'Donnells, Debbie, Hugh, and the boys for providing a sanctuary for me when my world fell apart. And to everyone, live feed, everyone who sent messages, emails, phone calls, thank you all for your kind words and filling my heart with love. I think Bob would be amazed at how many lives he touched and be grateful to you all for taking care of me. I love you all. And please enjoy yourself tonight. Please see the video and the music. Dominic put the video together with the slideshow, and all these people pull all the pictures together. We have a display up there. Just please have fun.
Thank you, Dominic.
You remember that.
Okay, so please meet Terry, Bob's younger brother.
So we're not quite to the English stage yet.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. So my name is Terry, for those that I haven't had the pleasure of meeting. Bob was my big brother.
Need a shot of tequila? Because I can shoot you.
I'm the youngest of 10, and Bob is the third oldest. And I knew for my family wish they could have been here, but we have plans for a family get together in the summer where we'll reunite Bob with our brother and our mom and dad. I hope I do my best to represent the family well. I've heard I've been doing well to represent Bob. My earliest memories of Bob are somewhat fragmented, as being the youngest of 10 meant I had 8 other parents in addition to my legitimate parents. My twin brother doesn't count. Although he thought he did. He thought he was one of the parents. From my earliest memory, I don't ever remember living in the same house as Bob. I assume that with so many of us, the older ones were left to fend for themselves, much like a mommy bird kicking their youngs out of the nest. One of the strongest memories that I have of Bob is when I was probably 4 or 5. Bob would have been 16, 17. We were talking and I asked him about his shirt that he was wearing, and it says "White Punks on Go." And it wasn't until recently that I realized that was a song by the Tubes, but it did last. And forever his nickname that I gave him was Punk. And I called him Punk every day, every day. So. I do remember him giving us rides on his motorcycle, but I don't believe we had our mother's permission, which I'm sure was probably fine by Bob. I wish I could tell you remember the day that Bob introduced us to Cindy, but I honestly don't recall a time when Cindy wasn't in our lives. It wasn't, and she has been a part of our family for as long as I have been part of the family. She is our sister, and we love her to pieces. That will never change. I just want to talk about Bob and some of his remarkable traits. Bob has always been a soft-spoken and reserved individual. You never really knew what Bob was thinking. The card games usually always had some yelling and a recap of the last 5 hands explaining why you should have played that card. And that way you did because it really screwed up his hand. Bob was a very tolerant man and respected other people's opinions. But in all honesty, Bob, he always gave someone a chance of avoiding being the subject of an hour-long lecture on why your opinion is shit. And it's usually started with a raised eyebrow, a smirk, and an "are you fucking kidding me?" Bob used to come home often, or as much as he could. He would never miss the big events, such as weddings and the birth of another niece or nephew. And on sad occasions, of course, when the passing of our brother and my mom and dad and nephew Trevor. Sorry. It was always an event when Uncle Bobby came home. And it was always a time for our family to get together for supper and games. Debbie, my sister, has done a wonderful job of keeping that alive. Our family events will forever be changed without them being there. We will miss him. Bob was my big brother and the one man I admired most. He has spent most of my life living on the other side of the world. So for me, he isn't really gone. He's just away, and we'll see each other again. I love you, punk. You will be missed.
I think he's talking about different unopinion.
Okay, so one of the nephews has written a little song here. So perhaps we can figure out the technology. Shall we go while you're in the media?
Bobby was my Uncle Bobby, really important guy to me. And he always asked me to write blues songs for him, and I never did until now. So this one is for Uncle Bobby. No one is funny, no one is cool. No one's gonna teach you more than school. Uncle Bobby, Uncle Bob. Never been as cooler than Uncle Bob. I call the blue, he called the peaches. Stack up a combo, believe that there's speeches. Uncle Bob. Never been as cool as Uncle Bob. I'm here now, looking and laughing, telling us all to go and change a nappy. My Uncle Bob. Corner in hand, ladder in pocket. Don't fight now, you'll get his ass socket. My Uncle Bob. Broken buddy, just wait. Soon you're gonna meet Mr. Mass Retaliation. My Uncle Bob. Never been as cooler than Uncle Bob. without you, oh my, what would I do without my baby? Oh my, never a man as cool as you. Now we laugh and laugh and laugh. Now we laugh and laugh and laugh. Oh, what a man I was lucky to have. We would laugh and laugh and laugh. Oh, never a man that's cool as them. Oh, never a man that's cool as them Uncle Bob.
Yeah, me too.
We good? So we have to, respect the fact that the restaurant has got a timetable, so we need to meet these. I'll just keep, I had a few menus prepared, but I'll cut them down quite a lot because of time. And besides, most of them have already been said. I do want to say welcome to all the folks who are joining us on the live stream, who at the last time we checked were Mike Zeller, Carrick, Patrick, Owen, Keane, Eva, Derek and Sally, Marianne, Bernadette, Hal and Alison from Winnipeg, Felicia and Isaac from Scotland, Sue and Charlie from Cumbria, Lauren from Nova Scotia, Owen from Dublin, Jim, Ben and Michaela from Cyprus, Fionn, Shailene from Doncaster, that's James Swiss, Jennifer Dorian, and my brother Brian from Killaloo in Ireland.
Just introduce my family as well, because I know they're watching. My older sister Debbie, my sister Cheryl, sister Tammy, brother Mike and Pam, Wes, my brother Gary, my wife Cheryl, my boys Megan and Trayton, sorry, Loss, Tammy, Joanne. I think I've got them all. Love you guys.
Okay, so I'll keep my memory about really short. People talk about him being kind and being loud and playing cards and all of these things. The one thing that people didn't, the thing that I will remember about Bob was he really knew stuff. He really did. I mean, Bob really, really knew stuff. He knew physics, he knew politics, he knew literature, he knew biology, he knew stuff. But most of all, what Bob knew, without a shadow of a doubt, that whatever you said was wrong. Does anybody else want to grab the mic and add an insult to the correction?
My family has reminded me I forgot my brother Bill.
Okay, so if that's okay with everybody, what we'll do is we'll open the mic later on when we're all a little bit more nickeled up.
As I was telling Larry, I've been to 3 funerals in the last 3 days. Chloe's grandmother died, her natural grandmother. That was an Anglican marriage. And Joni Skylock was interned the second day. probably the most fun of those. The startups are, yeah, they wouldn't be all weepy and hairy. Yeah, I don't. I had a really very rough time with my sister's entertainment when I was 11. And I have never been to one since. But my mother was asking me on the same day. I generally, like, I didn't go to Justice. I didn't go to Collins. I can't really, I haven't been to one since my wife was there. So I don't handle them. Yeah. Well, she has a crowd. I just moved so I could see. I'm gonna have to fetch her plates. Oh.
Well, I haven't seen the doctor this year. There you go. It's only the 12th of January then. Even with the kids are all grown up now. Yeah. My son has rented the house we used to live in before. He worked in the
Yes, if you can, I don't blame you. My goodness.
I don't want to stand on it.
No, I'm sure you do not. I'm sure I hope I Check it over. I'll come up a little bit.
I'm really my thing.
Yeah. Oh my God! Oh my God!
Well, when Sean said, and so if this lady wants to find out,
My wife said.
it's like,
Yeah.
I coached his son in baseball. It's actually what I know the most about in the world. Is funerals, coaching kids in baseball.
Who was his son? Oh, I remember him.
He was very good athlete. You know, Ian, without any prejudice at all, I can take your 10-year-old, well, you run them for an hour, and I tell you, you didn't make it. Did your kid make it to the big leagues? Did my kid? No, but he was out batting. A friend of his did, and he was out batting pretty quick. Deontay was a better hitter than Tyler. Deontay was a better pitcher than Tyler. They played head-to-head one day. Deontay proved it. Deontay beat his A team with the B team. But kid got into his head when he was 14. You see, in baseball, you can't have the yips. You can't step in the batting box, whether you're wondering whether you're in the baseball. Chance Chandler is here. The last thing he did of note, he was playing in Florida against the number 8 pitching. And that kid has thrown 3 no-hitters until he faced the offense. The only kid to hit him was the other. So now he has quitters and right.
And it's just the right location.
You see, the great Yogi Berra, do you know who that is? Said this. Baseball is 50% physical, and the other 90% is mental. It's that part with Tyler. He was a tough kid in tennis. So he still has his skill set. He wants to be in the university. No, he's 24. Doesn't matter. The skill set doesn't matter. Have you seen the movie The Natural? You don't start playing baseball when you're a kid, you retire. certified. I was allowed to coach. So then, what we did is the head coach didn't know anything about baseball. He was certified. But that's how it mostly is in Ontario. So I coached the coaches. Because they have all this, and safety. I was only allowed to coach with the coach coaching with me. But then I taught them how to ball coach. And we would beat 20-22. All the parents gathered around me as the baseball coach. They said, "What should we even continue?" What's so bad? Should we even continue? I said, "For sure we can continue." Because I'll tell you what you have. 14 hockey player athletes, 4 martial athletes. We had 18. 2 of them were how you could describe it. They very rarely made it. They were disparate. So the last game we played in, or the second last game we played that same team at the beginning of the tournament. We beat that team 25-0 with the backup pitchers. We didn't even pitch the primary pitchers because I taught them all to hit. I taught them how to all field. And I taught them how to all run. I taught them how to where to stand. I taught them what to do. I taught them how to organize their play. Because baseball is a game that you play as 9 individuals in your team. It's not a team game like rugby or hockey where you can cover off your team. You're 9 individuals in your team. You all got to do your thing. And we would have won all Ontario had we entered there. And all of that was satisfying to see kids. What? I'm very satisfied to see kids learn a big program. It's very satisfying for that, but it's also very satisfying that the parents understand. You just can't use that ability. So, like, I come onto the field, and I sit the kids down, and I say to them, it doesn't matter how you play the game, it only matters that you win. Being the best you can be, no one else on their team cares about that. They want you to be good enough to win. And that's my pep talk to even the lowest level of kids feeling like we have weak individuals. Because they've been told in their sports that you get a trophy too. Sport is this place where you're supposed to be safe and feel what it's like to lose. Not to be funneled into thinking you're a winner. Figure out that in work effort, what you need to do to win. My son never started lineup for that team. And I told him, my son will never start one of these games. He is the best player on the team. And you will not start him. You will always start second tier. You will never be in the starting lineup. The first 9 kids you put on the field, he's on the bench. The said, why? I said, because that's how you should be as coach next. Get on the damn bench. Stop trying to promote the kid. Let his talent promote himself. Some of the coach guys hated me. Some of the coach guys hated me. But the parents, at the end of the year, I had one of the parents come over and said, you're literally the best coach my son's ever had. I've never seen him grow so much in a sport in 3 months as what he did under your team. And that's what you're trying to do. That's why they made Boy Scouts. To become men, not to become bad students. Not to get handheld and hit from a more mature age. Parents would try to coach their kids from the side. I'm okay with that because I coach my kid from the side. If you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. That's right, because I would often have, are we on mute? Broadcast, we're on the street too. But parents would often say this to the uneducated, you know. You just put your hands on the ball. Put your hands on the ball. I don't know what is true. You can't turn your hands fast enough to hit a fastball. No, you have to hit the spin fast enough. Drag your hands around and hit the ball. So, I would say to them, kindly, let me teach you hitting. And you share your pitching. And at the end of the year, pretty much and at the end of the year, at the end of the year, we'll see. At the end of the year, I had this kid pitching 14-year-old. And I had a machine that told how fast he was going. He threw his fastball at 65. I tell you that that's not fast. At 14, it's not fast. Deontay was playing on that team when he was 12 and threw 70. Deontay threw the hardest of any of them. So this kid threw 65. He threw his changeup 65. He threw his football 65. So hitters could just lay back. He comes from AAA to this home league team. Well, AAA don't know how to teach him how to pitch. So I taught him how to pitch. And it looked like it was coming out of his hand at the same speed, but it came out at 45. And dropped like a son of a like that changeup was supposed to. And it's fastball, pop ball, fastball, pop ball. That kid, the second best pitcher on the team, was striking kids out because they'd get lined up for the fastball. As soon as I'd see the kid who nearly got that fastball lined up, number 2, get your ball, number 2. And he thinks number 2 is the changeup coming. And the back of his palm ball is like a changeup with low spin. And so it just comes at you and then stops, drops on the ground, crosses the plate. Sometimes it crosses the plate in the air, and sometimes on the ground. But still, you got a fastball that's coming, and you swing. And that kid's dad, some other parents on that team came to me and said, particularly because we don't like what you did all year. We think it's noise. You shouldn't be doing this with the kids. And that kid's dad came to me and said, my son, I don't have here.
John, are you all done or you
No,
going back?
hey, there's more food, right?
Go long.
Go long. That's what I
Twice,
said.
never not complete.
No.
You want that?
No, can't wait.
Okay. That's easy.
Alright, any complaints about the meeting? Only a friend of mine who lives right near you told me like on Wednesday, and he said, I just go on funeral. I said, well, this is what my mate's doing. Yeah. I don't think it's him doing it or somebody else or what. So they're not restricted how many people you see or anything.
I'm fine, Derek.
Oh yeah. Yeah, keep going back. They keep telling me I'm a miracle, so yeah. He said every time somebody comes in with the same cancer I have, and they're crying, and he said, it's a guy in Bermuda that can still read the numbers off his picture without glasses. And they can't believe it. He didn't tell me at the time, he told Kathy that it was more than likely I was losing the size of my eye, and I haven't lost anything. I had a ocular melanoma on my right eye. And if you don't find it, you die within a year. I was going to sleep and I saw a flashing light in my eye, trying to get to sleep at night. The next day, I remembered that a friend of ours, Margaret Potts, so Margaret had put a thing on Facebook about 2 weeks before.
Hello, folks. Hello, folks. We'll be starting the memories in just a few minutes, okay? Just a couple minutes.
Margaret put a post on Facebook and said, you get a flashing light in your eye, call your doctor. She went to her doctor because she had a flashing light in her eye. And he called for an ambulance and sent to the hospital because she had a cataract retina. And if you don't fix it within 24 hours, you lose your sight. So she put a post on Facebook and said, if you see a flashing light, call your doctor. And the next morning I had forgotten all about it. And in mid-afternoon, I remembered what she said, so I called the optician, and they said, you need to go see a surgeon. Went to the surgeon was off island, thank God. And they sent me to an optician after taking pictures of my eye. The doctor in New York. So here, after I went to New York, so they sent me to New York, and he said, if you had this, he'd been dead a year. Came back to remove it, and the woman here struggled away from you. Struggled watching. No, struggled watching. Yeah. Run like hell for that woman. She actually see me after I got back from New York, before I had the operation. And the first thing she said to me was, nobody will notice when you've only got one eye. I said, what? She said, that's how we treat you, take your eye out. I said, let me out of here. She had me in tears. I hadn't cried for like 30 years. She had me in tears. And she said, that's how we treat you, take your eye. I said, I've just been with this guy in New York who told me that 99.9% he will save my eye. And she died on this, so I said, let me out of the building. I left. And she's just not today, she doesn't know what she's doing. Way behind me. What? Well, used to is a good idea. Well, this was 6 years ago. Sorry, tinnitus. July 2019. So I have to go back every 6 months. Because what they do is they put my eye out and they make a gold plate. They put radioactive seeds on the plate and they stick the plate to the back of my eye. And they have it in, so the plate is in my eye for 4 days. On the 4th day, they took my eye out again and they unstitched the plate on my eye. And that killed the tumor. So because I had radiation in my eye, I have to go back and get checked every 6 months for the rest of my life. I said, as long as you have pain. She's the longest employee. Yeah, she's been there 22 years.
I never need every night I do this because I'm going to
How did you try that at home? I think she uses up all her patience, not her patience.
I think she's here once.
She lives with her.
She really likes her job. I mean, she doesn't like it when she's, dealing with younger people who've got cancer. But I think, she gets young people. It's very upsetting. But, if you're 80 or 90 years old and you've had a good life, it's not so bad, But when she gets somebody that's younger than her with kids, that really upsets her.
Oh, yeah. It would upset me too, very much.
Sorry, I'm married. Okay. I didn't arrest you when I was in the police today. Basically going to the MBS with Jamie and Bill. With Bill and Brad and those guys. That was probably midnight. Late night. And I get the full bar I met him 3 or 4 years ago in Canada. I was in London, Ontario, and he came to working near them. But I heard from him maybe a year ago. You never heard from Brad?
Doing the live streaming. I have everything taken out of my hands and ankles. Unbelievable. They were able to sit so long as that. Oh, yeah, we're saying. Okay, I'll get to find out, right? This house, but I wasn't sure. I just thought it was strange.
I know. Still here, that's amazing. My people like you guys have done. And they were all 69. The youngest is 54. Onward one is 12, was 65.
I know.
Another friend in Somerset, he was 50. All heart. All of the hearts. One of them died of, he had Huntington's disease. It makes you shake a lot like Parkinson's at work. And then it turns rigid. We weren't expecting him to die, and one of our friends got married. And we had to go with my daughter to babysit. Most expensive babysitters in the world. So I went to the UK for 3 or 4 days. We went to Wahoo. And my friend, his wife, yeah. So, my friend's wife, Danny, baby in hospital. And, he wasn't good. He wasn't expected to die. Anyway, we went to England. While we were in England, he got a phone call. He was going to see a specialist in London. He was driving on a train going where she met her husband 50 years ago. She got involved in doing this early in life. 50 years, only 2 times everything broke. Doesn't matter when he died. So she was already there, nothing she could do by going back there. So she went down to the Western border, looking at the airport. She went there last March. So we were there every month of October. And in November I went to Mexico. Didn't realize how close I was.
Hello everybody. Hello everybody. Hello everybody. So It's a little bit difficult to manage this because people are divided between I want to leave right now and I'm not leaving until Tuesday. So in the meantime, we should start into a little bit of the memories that we want to share. Before we get into that though, I do want to specifically, I know Cindy's done it already, but I want to again mention the visitors from Finnish, Jenny, Brendan, Jane, and of course, Gary. And finally, Annie. The last thing though is Jane has put in an immense amount of work in putting together the photographs. They really are stunning. And also, John, thank you for putting together the nine of us. All right, so it's memory time. We start with Terry.
So I know I already spoke tonight, but I got a memory of Bob, and I'm very grateful to all of my brothers and sisters who made up my name this thing. Thank you. So I wanted to share a memory that actually I don't even know if Cindy knows. I wouldn't be standing here today without Bob. He saved my life, and I'm not talking figuratively, I'm talking literally. So I was probably 5 or 6 years old. I was 5 or 6 years old, grew up, I ran away from home, 3 blocks or so. At that time, the Catholic school had a fire escape, and I decided I wanted to hang out on the roof of the school. So I climbed the fire escape and hung out over the edge of the fire escape, about 2 or 3 stories up in the air, as you do, and I hung there for I don't know how long, like 15 minutes at least, until Bob found me. And he pulled me to safety. So, yeah, if he didn't come along, I would be standing there. So, I do literally live my life to Bob. I know I forgot a lot of my family, so I have them in my head now. So I just want to recognize Devin West, Bill and Sherry, Cheryl and Ben, Joanne and Dave, Tammy and I'm sorry.
Sorry, guys. The Irishman. No,
Englishman. He's an Englishman.
Sorry.
I'll come back to him. Pam, Mike, Gary, Michelle, my brother, David that has passed away, his wife, Nancy. Numerous nieces and nephews, over 35, 40 great nephews, nieces. It's huge. But I just wanted Cindy to know that I do owe my life. Keith. Thank you, family. Sorry, Keith. I just saw Keith like 3 weeks ago.
I know, we're getting old.
Yeah. And Jim, your brother, is very much a part of our family. He comes to all of our family functions, so it's so great to have him. So we can't have you, but we got Jim. Jim is fantastic. Thank you, everyone.
Anybody else? I know the story.
Thank you,
I want to hear them.
Thank you, Terry. Dominic, my son.
Hi, everybody. How's it going? Okay, I am just going to share a couple of memories that I have from Uncle Bob on April Fool's Day, because he used to give us every single year. I haven't really prepared this, but I'm kind of freestyling. But Bob was the master of April Fools. And just to say a couple of them, there was one year we were all in Costa Rica, and for some reason we all had slingshots.
For some reason.
Bob brought us down into the garden with he set up a bunch of beer cans, and we were aiming at the beer cans as for target practice. When Eva accidentally hit Bob in the eye, started crying. It was awful. It turns out Bob had painted a rock white with a little eyeball on it and filled his hand up with ketchup and literally had us all screaming. There's worse ones. Hold on. Every April Fool's, we were just ready for him to come for us, so we were anxious. There was one year he texted me every single day maybe not every day, but it was pretty regularly that a prank was coming. So by the time it actually got to April Fool's Day, I was so freaking anxious that I didn't know what the hell. I didn't trust anyone I was on board with. Thought my friends were turning on me. They were British. They didn't know who Uncle Bob was. They were like, this guy. There was one morning my dad was on his way to work. And Bob convinced him that the bridge by Double Dip had collapsed. Dad's calling everybody saying, I'm not going to work today. I don't know what, figuring out plans and who's and calling guys with boats. April Fools. And then there was the legendary one. Oh, I actually don't remember that one, but one time apparently okay, Cindy's next. But I think one of the best ones that he ever did was there was one time Finn was in Bermuda. He just come back to visit, who was essentially my cousin. And I get this text on WhatsApp from this girl. And she said, hey, how's it going? I heard about you. I think we met at the beach. We should hang out in the square. I'll be there at 1 o'clock. So I'm like, who the hell is this texting me on WhatsApp? It turns out he was doing the exact same thing to my cousin Finn. So the prank had worked out, which it didn't, because I didn't go down to the square. He would have had me and Finn both wander around the square looking for this girl that doesn't exist. Yeah, that one would have been bad, but I then eventually realized it was Bob. Fucked him off, and he responded with a picture of his nipple. So that's a little taste of what Bob put some serious thought into a lot of his pranks, like a lot of the things that he did in this world, and those are some memories that I'm gonna hold dearly. Did you want to tell the one about the lice? Because I don't remember it. Come on. There were so many. We're probably missing 10 pranks.
We need Bob, he would remember every moment of it. But yeah, we were, again, it was Costa Rica. And I think I was in League with Bob for this one. And Dominic here was scratching his head. Long hair.
Oh, he was a surfer too.
Long hair. Yeah, and you couldn't cut it. You couldn't hear it. And so I saw him scratching his head and I called him over and I started looking through it and I was like, oh, nice. This guy was freaking out at the thought of us having to shave it all off. He was never more relieved to hear April Fool. Sorry, this one more, Suffolk. I don't think it was April Fool, but he managed to convince Finn that breakfast was dog food. They were all set up with dog food. And I think Finn actually poured milk in and started eating it. Sorry, Finn, if you're listening. Oh, it was deer food. It was kibble. Reindeer food, that's right. Yeah, believe it or not, we were in a place with reindeer. Yeah.
What about the one that didn't happen? You are doing your touring. So, I'll just shout. So I don't know if you know that Bob traveled with Halifax for Louis Reed. No, you did. For one month around the U.S. and he was their videographer, right? So it was over the April Fools, and I was trying to figure out a prank. So he reached out to the manager of the tour, who was going to try and play a prank on Dominic, and have the manager come in in front of all of the crew, all the stage crew, everybody, and tell him that his mother's shipment of clean underwear was delayed to arrive. The manager wouldn't play ball. That was unfortunate.
April 1st will never be the same.
No.
Well, last year he told me that he was all good things was come to an end, and that I wasn't going to get pranked. And then it turned out that my cat went missing the same day. This is in London, so I don't know how the heck. From Bermuda, stole my cat. But it actually just ran away. But anyway, thank you guys.
So I think we have another memory coming up. Just a quick one I want to share is I remember in Costa Rica. In Costa Rica, it was I came across Bob around by 11 a.m. one morning, and he wasn't holding a beer. I think that's the only time.
Evening, everybody. Wrote a little piece this afternoon. Yes, I remember the most important interactions between me and Bob. I've titled it "For the Life Saving." Bob excelled in everything he wanted to do. BSAC, the Bermuda Dive Club, was how we quickly became friends.
Eat the mic.
Sorry, I won't be very good at this. We all enjoyed a lot of diving, a lot of drinking, pseudo family over Christmas and New Year. We had several dive trips together, including in Cosmo, a liveaboard in Naya and on the Naya in Fiji and Australia. It turned out that Cozumel was one of the toughest places to dive. Great visibility, amazing marine life, along with the vertical wall, which had strong currents. On one of those dives, Bob was my buddy, we drifted along the wall that was planned to be a deep but short dive. When it was time to surface, we had to fight quite a strong down current. Due to the currents, we drifted away from the wall and ended up in what would be called a blue water dive. In spite of our efforts to reach the surface of our safety stop, a few seconds of stopping because of the sheer effort of filling upwards resulted in us ending up at 60 metres. So Bob quickly got me to focus, helped me get to the surface. And looking back, we didn't really ever talk about it back then. It was just something we did as buddies. We never really acknowledged the fact that he probably saved my life. So, to the best of us, Bob, my buddy.
So if anybody is ready to proceed, they can. I'll quickly tell you that Ben Mobley from Cyprus asked that Cindy be reminded that when he was new in St. George's, you were kind enough to take him on the beach on Port St. Catherine, and it was one of his happiest picnics ever, and it really changed the way he felt about things. He was new and didn't know anybody and kind of an asshole. Okay, who's next? Brendan? No? Come on.
Okay. Memory much is the story. Yeah. Patrick's song has a massive retaliation for knowing things. Because the number of times he said that to all our guests was, you get out of line. There's a thing called massive retaliation if you don't know today. I'm surprisingly enough, listen to it. We have the same power with the same threats.
I'm pretty sure that Ethan took that very much to heart.
That's not going to happen.
Okay, Debbie.
Yeah, I don't normally talk much in front of people, but I just wanted I just wanted to share that Bob has been part of our Bermuda life, and he has been knitted into the fabric of our life in Bermuda, not only with Cindy and Bob and ourselves and various adventures in different places, but with our kids as well. And when I think about the loss, it is a 3D loss, because not only is it the pain of seeing our kids in their pain and seeing Cindy in her pain and our own grief, it's that he's associated with Bermuda, Costa Rica, Canada, England, Ireland. We travelled to so many different places together. So there's all over the world there are reminders. LA? Yes. Las Vegas. I mean, it just keeps hitting me. There's so many places where there's a memory of Bob. And that's a little overwhelming. And then you realise that in the other dimension, in time, he's with us. Christmas, huge, as you've seen in the photos. April Fools, you've seen that. Easter, he was always there. We're always sharing summers. I'm getting there. Summers, we were always together. Halloween, and then round to Christmas again. And so we shared so many good times. And so I just wanted to mention that it's painful. So we had a lot of times together, and yeah, it was.
I believe Annie is going to tell us something now. What do you guys think?
I first met Uncle Bobby when he was an instructor down the dive field. And he was Mr. Cool Dude. And he'd always scare the crap out of me because he did anything wrong, he would always pull me up in Bob's style. And I was doing an assessment, and we were going through Somerset Bridge, and it was in a rubber boat, which is a rig. And I was really nervous because I was being assessed. And Uncle Bob was there beside me, he was really cool, and he says, "Oh, relax, it's okay, you'll be grand, just keep going, you're grand." Next thing I hit the wall, and all I heard was, "Reverse! Reverse!" And he roaring. But he was a great character, and he was an absolute fecker at times, I have to say it. But we loved him dearly. And now I'm going to pass you over to Mr. Michael Heslop, who used to be on the fantasy dives with him when Bob was as cantankerous as we damned at times. But he was phenomenal working with him. So here he is, Michael.
Where did she leave? I don't know. I think I have a different impression about Bob than some of you guys.
working with him was slightly different. Because, you know, we were in the tourist industry and trying to keep people happy. And one thing is that he was very, very competent at what he did. And he was very safe, and we could rely on him. But he was a little moody. You know? And I don't know why he was in the tourist industry, because he didn't take stupidity lightly. And he will be so stressed. Like, these people are so stupid. They are so stupid. They are so stupid. And we'll be like, no, you know, it's tourists, we have to be polite. And anyway, but he was definitely a character, and we loved him dearly.
I remember I was having a conversation with Bob one time, and I said, we talked about life. And Bob turned and he said, don't talk to me about life. My life is a beer commercial. Okay, so who's next? Who? Ian? Sean? Sally? And no. Everybody shout, oh, here we go.
Hello? No. I represent the Customs Department. And I would like to tell all of you that Bob never paid me a penny. I don't know how clever he was, but he escaped my clutches. And that's all I have to say.
You finished what you said? You finished them? Please finish.
It's very difficult to summarize there the whole time I was growing up. But I will say that I don't know how many of you here know my brother. That he's very special, you know. And I think it takes a very special person to get feeling.
John is a wonderful guy, and it has to be said that he and Bob had a connection that was phenomenal. It really, it's a complexity meets complexity, and it was a perfect harmony.
I'm Jamie Payne, and I'm a diver. And I met Bob when he was a national instructor and I was a plebe. And for those of you that know me, I don't like to lose arguments. And I never won one with Bob. And I soon determined, while I was a plebe and he was a national instructor, so there's a power dynamic going on a little bit, you know, particularly when Ian signed me off and Carl was here. She signed me off most times, but Bob would be up there. And he'd tease you about signing you off for quite a long period of time before he actually wrote, you know, bought a national instructor, whatever number it was. And we had another national instructor, it was Tony Dix. And so the dive club, I'm looking around at lots of married couples, and I'm one of them. I met my wife at the diver club, and lots of people here did do that. I can see many couples that met at the dive club. And so it's both a social organization and a diving organization. And it's probably more of a social organization than it is a diving organization. But Tony and Bob were the diametrically opposite kind of national instructor. Tony was quite British. I won't try to do the accent. It was southerly of some sorts, but he would say, if you went in the water, you'd sign. Bob would say, you know you surfaced 2 meters per second too quickly on the last bit of that dive, and you may have to do that dive again to 35 meters. I would be like, really? Yeah, no, really. It took me maybe 6 to 10 dives to figure out he's just effing with me. Bob was whoever the brother, that was great. That was the best belly laugh I've had in my life. We're all here because he was a really interesting man, right? I always say to people, I say, the memories that you have in your life was never had on the easy day, right? You don't have any of those memories. And the people that have come in through your life, most everybody in this room knows me. I've been in my life 30 years, so even then. And so, and sometimes it was hard for me to pull back people's names I hadn't seen in quite a long time. Bob? No. Right to the top of your head. No problem. You're going to remember Bob for as long as we all live.
Thank you very much. Bob had a joke. A joke I thought was particularly clever. It's a two-parter. I'm sorry for that, Chris. So Bob had a joke that I particularly liked. So if those of you who saw the movie The War of the Roses will remember the first part of the joke. What do you call 500 lawyers at the bottom of the sea? Exactly, a good start. What do you call 500 accountants at the bottom of the sea? Visa. All right, folks, unless anybody is going to... Oh, one more.
Heard me before, but Cindy reminded me of a comment I made about 5 days after dear Bob had passed away. And my husband Ian and I, we have an annual tree trimming open house invite. Everyone is invited. We'll do it this year, and you're all invited. And everybody comes and helps us trim our tree. So this year, we've been retired and not out in the social scene. We sent out a bulletin blast. We had about 60 people turn up. We were so happy. And we trimmed the tree, and I wasn't watching very closely what was going on. And after everybody had left, Diana, our dear friend, was sitting with us, and we all looked at the tree and thought how beautiful it was, and then it went, and I went, oh my gosh, the tree fell over. And I went, Bob, back off. I can't be there, but you won't forget me.
So true.
Okay, folks, I think unless we have any more volunteers, I think we're pretty much done. On a personal note, I just want to add, I loved the song by my son Patrick. The lyrics are available, and honestly, they're a joy to me. And I also want to thank Dominic for putting together the slides, and Jane for putting together the photographs, things for the hospitality, and for our many friends here and far for making this an astonishing start to an evening. Thank you, everybody.
Just want to thank Hugh and Debbie for everything they've done. Don't have to go into detail, do I?
Thank you all.
Okay.
see you, Jamie. Good to see you.
Let's not leave it until something like this too.
I'm supposed to get the 6 GM. Oh, yeah, you can get that.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Let's not leave it so long. Yeah. Let's not leave it.
That's what ChatGPT thinks about the idea. Good luck. Good luck. Your bag is saloon. Yeah, yeah. Boat, house, car, whatever you need.
But at least it is. I can keep your father. I think you would have see us. Me too.
I think I would have the audience stream.
Yeah.